Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today my voice is very big. I just woke up. I wish I had this voice. This morning voice is very nice, actually. Wow. So I haven't opened my mouth. So this is the first time I'm opening my mouth. The only time I opened it was when I was brushing my teeth. So to talk, it's the first time. So it's big. And even me, I'm shocked. Even me, I'm shocked with my own voice. So this is my morning voice. You will just have to forgive me. I thought, let me wake up and do videos for you. Now, guys, I want us to talk about the Senzo Miwa case. Something is bothering me. Guys, the case lives rent-free in our heads. Yes, it does. So we had the past week we had the breaking news, the assassination plot, right? I want us to talk about that. But right now, I want us to talk about it as the assassination plot that does not make no sense unless you know what's going on, what's really going on, because well, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. In a high stakes, high drama Senzo Meyiwa trial, a shocking wave has ripped through the court. Police now claim they have solid evidence, solid intelligence, proving a group of individuals have been attending proceedings to eliminate the judge, prosecutors, and investigating officers. But here's the question nobody wants to ask. If the threat is real, why haven't the judge or the prosecutors recused themselves? Isn't that the next thing that was supposed to happen? Why hasn't the trial been stopped? Why hasn't NPA restructured? Why has not a single judicial safeguard kicked in besides securities? Why is that part not taken care of? Because when you scratch beneath the surface, the story unravels. Okay, let's break this down. If a judge is genuinely targeted for assassination, judicial ethics require immediate recusal. Not because the judge is guilty of anything, but because fear, security, and survival automatically become part of their mental landscape. And that alone compromises impartiality. Why was that not done? Wasn't that the first thing that was supposed to happen after that day? Wasn't that how the reaction was supposed to happen? A threatened judge is a biased judge, even unintentionally. The same applies to prosecutors. A prosecutor under direct threat can't objectively pursue the truth. They can only pursue survivor. So why are they still there, smiling for cameras, calling witnesses, arguing motions? Is the threat exaggerated, or is it real but selectively weaponized? What's going on? Because the only people who have been interrogated, arrested, and targeted under this intelligence are not the alleged hitmen, but rather the people linked to the defense witness who broke the state's case open, especially Gwabini. They are linked with Gwabini. They are the people that were coming to court with Gwabini since the entire time he's been coming to, from day one when he was coming to court. What a coincidence, though. If the threat is exaggerated, then the entire security spectacle becomes a tool, a narrative weapon meant to shake the defense momentum, intimidate the witnesses, and shift public perception, of which it's not shifted. The public is not even scared. The public told them, the news reporters and the interviews of Atlanta Mate, the spokesperson of SEPS, they were like, bullshit. Doesn't make sense. No, we don't believe it. It's not true. It can't be true. It's not even make sense. But if the threat is real, then continuing with the same judge and the same prosecutors is a constitutional disaster. A judge who believes hitmen are coming for him cannot be fair. A prosecutor with crosshairs on their back cannot be objective. Either the threat is a distraction or the trial is already compromised. And the silence from the bench, it speaks volumes. Because this intelligence has done absolutely nothing to protect the judge, but it has done a whole lot to create cloud over the defense. The truth is simple. If there is a credible plot, judicial ethics demand recusal. If there is no credible plot, then the public is being played. Either way, the people of South Africa deserve transparency, not theatrics, not selective intelligence, not courtroom power moves disguised as national security. This is the story behind the story, and it raises the biggest question of all. Who benefits from this narrative, and why now? Right now, when the state case is collapsing. Why? The plot might not be on the judge, the plot might be on the truth. That is what sounds like is happening here, because what is this, Nasana? What is this, Nasana? It doesn't make sense. So that is why we are questioning what's going on. What's going on? Why are they saying all of this is happening, etc., etc.? And their moves are telling a different story. Their moves are telling us something different. If there was a real assassination plot, why haven't the judge and the prosecutors recused themselves? Why? If police are claiming that solid intelligence shows a group attending court to eliminate key role players, the judge, prosecutors, and investigators, then a very serious legal question arises there. Why are the very people allegedly being targeted still presiding over the same case? Why? Does that even make sense? And I will repeat, if there is a real threat, then one, their safety is immediately compromised. A judge or a prosecutor under the direct threat becomes personally invested, whether consciously or subconsciously. That already contaminates impartiality on its own. Chief Justice Maya is supposed to be doing something here. Secondly, their decision-making could be influenced. A judge who believes hitmen are coming for me cannot objectively rule on issues involving the same police who claim to be protecting him, that introduce bias in favor of the state. This is the exact reason recusal exists, not only to prevent actual bias, but the appearance of bias. They are saying that she's being targeted, so he's supposed to move. Thirdly, the police narrative is conveniently one-sided. If the threat is truly credible, standard procedure would be immediate removal of the judge from the case, a temporary stay of proceedings, a national prosecuting authority restructuring, SEP's counterintelligence activation. None of that has happened. Instead, the case is being investigated by the same people that are being targeted, the same cold case units. Muhola and Gininda apparently are the ones that are being targeted. So if that is the case, then why are they still in the case? They should hand it over to other people. In fact, it should be handed over to crime intelligence, because it had reached that point now. If it's like that, why is it not handed over to crime intelligence? The police narrative is conveniently one-sided, thirdly. If the threat is truly credible, standard procedure would be immediate removal of a judge from the case, a temporary stay in proceedings, a national prosecuting authority restructuring, SEP's counterintelligence activation. None of that has happened. Instead, only Guabini's people were taken, questioned, and criminalized. Conveniently, people tied to defense breakthroughs. That raises eyebrows. That raises eyebrows. Number 4, the threat claim paradox. If the police are saying the judge is a target, yet the judge stays, that tells us one of the two things. A, the threat is exaggerated, which means the arrest and drama could be a tactic to disrupt defense progress and discredit key witnesses. Or B, the threat is real, which means the judge staying on the case violates judicial ethics and compromises justice, fairness, and independence. Either scenario is a constitutional crisis, so the judge must leave. Number 5, in fact, it's Chief Justice Maya that is supposed to be dealing with this. Number 5, recusal would be legally expected. Under South African law and international judicial standards, a judge must recuse if their impartiality might reasonably be questioned, their personal safety or interest intersect with case outcomes, police intelligence influences their judicial posture. The threat, if genuine, ticks all these boxes. All of them. Bottom line, if the alleged assassination plot is genuine, the judge and prosecutors cannot continue without violating fairness. If they do continue, it strongly suggests the threat is a narrative tool, not a real national security event. The public deserves clarity, transparency, and consistency, not selective intelligence applied only to people linked to defense witnesses. That is very much unfair. All of that, it is very, very much unfair. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts when it comes to that? I woke up this morning and I was like, something's very off here. I know I'm one of those people that are like, no, Judge Rota must see this case through. But if there is an assassination plot, then he must go. Oh, yes, he must go. Anyway, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.